Welcome to the Good Mood Show, the show that always puts a smile on your face and teaches you techniques on how to feel your best. It's Thursday. That means that we're at the Good Mood Boost, your midweek pick me up. And let's enjoy this show.
Welcome to the Good Mood Show. Here's your host, Matt O'Neill.
Today, we are joined by Dr. Matthew Zakreski. Matthew is a neurodivergence and mental health expert. Neurodivergence means people who have different brains. Think ADHD or giftedness or dyslexia or autism. And he teaches people how their needs may change socially and professionally. Let's hear Matthew's best advice on how to get into a great mood.
Hi, I'm Dr. Matt Zakreski, and I'm an expert on how to feel good. I'm a clinical psychologist who anchors a lot of my work in brain science. So when you engage in trying to feel better, there's a couple of things you need to know. The first is that the emotional control centers of our brain are a series of connected structures called the limbic system. When we have something that makes us feel angry, afraid, sad, scared, whatever that might be, that system activates. And the emotion that comes through our brain is then processed by the prefrontal cortex, the front part of our head, which makes us decide what behaviors we're going to do. So this is the difference between crying into a tissue or punching a wall. The more we know about how emotions impact our body, we increase our chances of making better choices when we've got big feelings. It's also important to remember that emotions don't only happen in our brain, they actually impact our entire body. So when I demonstrate this to people, when I get mad, I feel this, I feel that tendon pulse in my jaw. So that's a good sign that I'm mad, right? And that is just enough of a head start. It's a warning bell that's like, oh, I'm getting mad about something. Let me see if I can step into one of my regulation strategies, right? And regulation strategies are all about that, regulating, right? A lot of people come to me as a therapist and they'll say, Dr. Matt, I don't want to be sad anymore. I don't want to be anxious anymore. I don't want to be mad ever again. Those are wonderful, ideal goals, but they're never going to happen. All of our emotions serve a purpose, right? I'm not saying you should get catastrophically angry if somebody grabs the last banana nut muffin in the cafeteria, but being mad if somebody shoves you to the ground and tries to steal your wallet is actually an appropriate response. So let's not think about emotions as good or bad. Let's think about them as comfortable or uncomfortable. So feeling sad at a funeral is a comfortable thing because you're regulated to your environment. Feeling sad if you're watching the Super Bowl, well, I don't know how you feel about football, but it might not be as regulated. It may not be as comfortable. When you understand that emotions impact your entire body, it allows us to do our major coping strategy, which is using our parasympathetic nervous system for our benefit. Now, most people are familiar with the sympathetic nervous system. That emotion flies through your brain, that limbic system. It also moves through your body through the sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is fight or flight. It's like, there's danger, I'm ready to go. I'm either going to run away or I'm going to fight. And that impacts your entire body. Your heart rate, your lungs, your fists clench, your feet get tense, we're ready to go. When the threat is over, then we move into the competing system in our body, the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system's job is to rest and digest. So sympathetic nervous system activate, parasympathetic nervous system like a parachute, it slows us down. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system is going to activate on its own, no matter what, right? That's what its job is. But we can escalate that process by saying how we feel out loud. Now, it might feel a little weird, but think about a time you were upset and somebody asked you if you're okay. You probably said something like, I'm fine, I'm okay, nothing's wrong. But obviously something was wrong. The more energy we spend on trying to be okay when we're not okay actually makes us more upset. So saying out loud, I'm angry, I'm scared, I'm overwhelmed, I'm nauseous, I'm terrified, I'm heartbroken, it actually escalates the process of the parasympathetic nervous system and helps us calm down faster. When we're calmer, we make better choices. When we make better choices, we feel better. So it becomes what we call a virtuous cycle. You feel better, you do better. And all of this is about owning and acknowledging and accepting the emotions we feel. No one wakes up in the morning hoping they have a meltdown because they got so angry and overwhelmed. Nobody's out there thinking that or hoping that. But when the emotions come, I think it's helpful to think of them like thunderstorms. Thunderstorms can ruin your day. Thunderstorms are loud and scary and disruptive. But it's not the thunderstorm's choice to be there. It didn't wake up in the morning and decide to ruin your day. So you're allowed to be upset or scared that the thunderstorm exists. But don't go out in the thunderstorm and scream at it, because then you're going to get hurt, right? Once the thunderstorm has passed, then we pick up the pieces and we move back on. So we let our emotions flow through us like weather flows through the sky. And on the back end of it, we get back to what we were doing, because all storms run out of rain eventually. Everything does pass. How we position ourselves in that experience actually has a lot to do with how quickly it passes and how better we feel when it's over. So I'm Dr. Matt Zakreski, and that's my tip to feel better, be in that good mood, is that when you feel a feeling, it's not good or bad, it's just what you're feeling. You name it, and you watch that parasympathetic nervous system calm you right down.
All right. I like Dr. Matt's philosophy. I didn't agree with one thing. He said, if you're feeling sad while watching the Super Bowl, that may not be appropriate. And as a Detroit Lions fan, I am extremely sad about the Super Bowl this year. That's a different story. On his tip to feel good, I thought it was exceptional. You know, that first he starts out by saying, notice that emotions happen in your whole body, and that anger will show up for you in your body in a different place. For Dr. Matt, it shows up as a tightness in his jaw. For me, I can feel anger welling up at the top of my chest and into my neck. And other people are going to feel the sensation of anger in a different place. If you get really curious about your emotions and start to feel in your body where they show up, it's a good clue for you about what you're feeling. Because as he mentioned, a lot of times we say, I'm fine, but we know we're not fine. Our spouses know we're not fine. And I like that his point here, that when we're not being honest about how we're feeling, it takes more energy to act that way than it does to acknowledge how we actually feel. And I think that our society has kind of made it not okay to feel bad. So we hide how we actually feel from ourselves a lot. And this is a big part of the problem. I totally agree about the emotions being like a storm, that there's a beginning to a storm, there's a raging storm, and then the storm dissipates and goes away. Well, we can trap that storm in our energy system if we don't acknowledge how we feel and pretend that we're not really upset. And what happens when we trap a storm in our energy system is it usually creates physical pain in our body somewhere. We do this with anger a lot. And I used to do this with anger a lot. I didn't want to admit that I was angry about things because it wasn't appropriate to be angry. And so I would trap all this anger in my body, and then I'd have a lot of back pain. Well, once I started to notice that the back pain was really just suppressed anger, I started to do what Dr. Matt suggested. As I started to feel angry, I admitted it to myself and to somebody else. I would say, and I didn't like to say I'm angry, because that's not me. I am not angry. My name is Matt. I'm an infinite being. I am not anger. I would say I'm feeling the emotion of anger. And I'm feeling the emotion of anger about this. And just adding the label and being honest about it allows that whole storm to come in and then pass so we can get back to good moods. Excellent tips from Dr. Matt. I hope you guys enjoyed this Good Mood Show boost, and looking forward to more good moods to come.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of The Good Mood Show with Matt O'Neill. For free resources, videos, and materials about getting into your best moods, head over to thegoodmoodshow.com. See you next week, same time, same place.